There are a lot of children in Afghanistan, but little childhood. A statement by Khalid Hosseini in The Kite Runner. Welcome to Awesome Reader, where we review different books by different authors. This Sunday, we review And the Mountains Echoed by Khalid Hosseini. About the author. Khalid Hosseini is one of the most widely read and beloved authors. He has written other books, The Kite Runner, 1,000 Splendid Hills, and most recently, Sea Prayer. Please check the links below for the reviews of The Kite Runner and 1,000 Splendid Hills. He is a good ambassador of the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees and a founder of the Khalid Hosseini Foundation, which provides humanitarian assistance to the people of Afghanistan. He was born in Kabul, Afghanistan, and lives in Northern California. The book has 466 pages and is a work of fiction, has a shade of purple, a boy and a girl, I'll assume Paris and Abdullah, who I shall introduce to you shortly. Currently, the book retails at 1,000 Kenya shillings. Remember, you can get yourself a copy of the book at a discount from Textbook Center. To the highlights of the book. We are introduced to Abdullah and his sister Pari, their father, and we understand the mother died while giving birth to Pari. The father married again, got two sons, Omar, who died early due to the winter, and they have another brother, Iqbal. They take a journey from their village Shadbag to Kabul. It was only to be with Paris, but Abdullah tagged along. Despite his father's effort of chasing him, he still insisted. They left Paris behind with the family they were visiting in Kabul. It was not the same for Abdullah. Parwan and Masuma, two sisters that have a history of their own, are introduced to us. Masuma had an accident that paralyzed her. She was the fairest of the two. Parwan became the stepmother of Abdullah and Paris. That's the mother of Iqbal. They had a brother called Nabi who worked in Kabul. We introduce again to Mr. Marcos, a doctor who comes to rebuild Afghanistan. He's come to rent the house where Nabi was working, and it's here we get to know what happened to Pari, the sister of Abdul. Nabi worked for Mr. Wadati as a driver, and of course he will do other duties as requested by Mr. Wadati. Mr. Wadati, man loved his pace, enjoyed his drawings and solitude. He eventually got married, but they could not have a child. The state of poverty for Sabur, that's Abdul's father, was just huge, and Nabi suggested to our employers if they could buy a child. Sabur had no choice but to sell off her daughter. The Wadatis took care of Pari, and the condition was that the family will never visit her. Mr. Wadati, as years got by, got a stroke and was bedridden. His wife decided to leave and moved to France with Pari, and Nabi was left to look after him. He took care of him almost all his life, and the time of his death, he left everything to Nabi. Nabi lived all his life as a servant to the Wadatis, and on his will, he sought the help of the visitor to trace Pari and gave her everything. She got to hear of the death of Miss Wadati from the visitor. Indeed, he was very fond of her and felt like there was something deeper than servant relationship. The author takes us to France and talks about Pari and Miss Wadati and how their lives had turned out. Miss Wadati, we understand, committed suicide after some time in Paris. She drank too much. She never remarried. She, at some point, had a man who, after 6 months, moved on and had a relationship with her daughter, Pari. Pari, on the other hand, always felt like she was missing something. Various relationships that did not work out, but eventually he got married to Eric and had children. Eric suffered a heart attack and died, leaving Pari to be a widow. Pari was becoming sick and in need of support. At his old age, he received a call from Mr. Marcos. Remember, Marcos was a doctor, a tenant of Nabi in Afghanistan. He read to her a letter that Nabi had left for her on the phone. Eventually, Pari and Abdullah were united. They met in their old age. It's a pity the reunion was not as expected. In my opinion, the storyline of the book is very captivating, interesting, and full of suspense. The author, like in his other books, takes you through a roller coaster of emotions. You always get disappointed with the end, as it were. As a reader, you felt like you're turned around. The book is a page turner. However, it's a very inordinately long book that fuses so many characters together and takes you to various places, which is such a drawback for otherwise a very good fiction. If you have read The Mountains Echoed or any other book of Khalid Hosseini, please let me know what you think in the comment section below. This has been Awesome Reader. Subscribe, like, and share. Till next Sunday, let's keep reading.